Look at this beautiful track here tonight, boys. Another absolutely stunning track here from Stone. Always a beautiful sight. Always a beautiful sight. Here we are then. On the gates. Rip Roosper. Rip indeed. Hopefully he can have a little nice night. Did he not qualify or did he qualify? I don't even know. I haven't checked. Regardless, down go the gates though for 250 Heat 1 here in Birmingham, Alabama. Gonna be an interesting circuit here tonight. We go down this long straight rhythm section here through the whole shot. Neon will take that whole shot and the racing lead for the beginning of the lap. Chapstick has a bit of an issue there as he shorts up and has to go onto the table. Not super ideal at all, but he's going to hold on to pretty decent positions regardless. So Neon then in that top spot. We got Talon in P3 it looks like. Billy just found his way through on the Alpine Co KTM. A fantastic start to his night then. Up into that P2 spot nice and early. Randolph closing in for the P3 spot now on the podium nice and early. Chapstick then pushed down to P4 as a result. Jay Talon closing in. Billy's gone down, losing that P2 and losing the podium position with it. Chapstick then up to P3 as a result. Jay Talon looking to try and contend for that podium position now as we come into that whoop section now. Looking nice and stable here for Jay Talon, but Chapstick getting a little bit choppy. Looks like Doc got caught up with a couple other bikes there in the whoop section as well on the right side of the screen. Certainly not super ideal. Jay Talon then getting a really nice bit of rhythm done here on the Oblivion bike. Looking nice and smooth indeed on that KTM. Jumps it way down to the inside. Could be risking a cut there with jumping over those tough blocks. We'll see if he ends up with penalties a little later on the race. Fingers crossed it's a no. Looking very smooth though as we come through the rest of the circuit. Checking back up with Neon, you can see he's not made many mistakes, if any, so far this race. A fantastic beginning to his first heat of the night then. Opening that gap up nice and early here to Randolph. Randolph still holding on for the P2. Chapstick is absolutely vibing as well. Don't forget it's the top 9 making it through. So Cloud currently holding that P9 position on the Norms Co KTM. And we've got Jenkins just behind him on a Hustle Racing Husqvarna. Looking to try and close in. Hustle Racing Husqvarna is quite the mouthful. Esther Frank, how are we getting on, man? But, I'd wrap is rip. Rip indeed. But yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that that exchange point in a moment, because it looks like Jenkins has made his way up to P9 and Reaperdoc is actually closing in here on that cheeky Honda in the background. Might be able to squeeze his way through then on that RD Honda. Big old send onto the table there from Doc. He's going with the mega lines here tonight. Look at this end. Oh, just a little bit of a front wheel case, but it looks like we're going to come side by side then as we come into this next section, up and over the table, round the corner, and get the position done as we cross over the track and go up and over the step, up and over. Up and over the step, up and over? Yeah, what a brain. That's a great sentence. Look at that, though. Scrubbing off the speed. Oh, a little bit of a case there from Doc. He's going to lose the position again to Jenkins. Jenkins just absolutely storming through with the triples there on the Husky. Beautiful bit of riding, but unfortunately, Barboso's caught his front wheel and just absolutely denied him any opportunity here tonight. A really serious, unfortunate situation there for the Hustle Racing bike. He's going to have to try and get his head back in the game, really, to try and close that gap back up. It's going to be super tough. Just 3 minutes on the clock then. There's just a few laps remaining. Not long at all left in this second heat. Or, well, no, first heat of the night, sorry. My apologies. My mouth is going strange. Regardless. Checking back up with Neon then. He is obviously in that lead position. We've got Finn here on the TSCZ KTM. He's found his way up into that top 3. Currently holding that P2 position just ahead of the J Talon Oblivion KTM. Looking nice and smooth behind him as well. Randolph then pushed down to P4 as a result. But still holding a respectful position regardless. We can see on the timing gates here, Reaperdoc up to P7. Which is always nice to see for the fans. Yeah, Finn looking as smooth as ever then. Hopefully he gets his head in the game for the main event here tonight. And we can potentially see some tasty battles then between Finn and Neon if their lap times look pretty similar. We'll check it out obviously towards the end of the heat here. Just a couple of minutes on the clock. We're going to have a look back down at that danger zone. It's currently Chapstick in P9. It looks like he's got a pretty comfortable gap to Jenkins there in the P10 spot. So we're actually going to look away from them for a moment. And have a look at Reaperdoc here as he closes in onto the back of Arcos. Is that Arcos? I'm going to pronounce it Arcos. The KDR bike then, just getting absolutely minced by the Honda. Reaperdoc going for that big table line again. A little bit of a case though, he loses some time going for those big lines every lap. Although with the heats, you do obviously have that benefit of worst case scenario. You've still got the LCQ, you know. Very nice stuff indeed, though. We'll see him go on through, I'm sure, provided nothing too major goes on. Neon, though, 9.5 seconds ahead of Finn there in the P2 spot. He's going to be absolutely thrilled with that. An excellent start. And he's going to be wanting to try and continue that for the remainder of the night, of course. We'll see Randolph here. Looks like he's got himself a bit of breathing room as well. Jay Talon's got Cloud just behind him. about a second or two behind. Looking pretty tasty then for Cloud, a potential overtaking opportunity there. Billy then has moved his way up to P6, I believe, on the track. He could be holding some nasty penalties that we don't know about. We'll see how that updates towards the end of the race, when, of course, they do come across the line. Looks like it's P7 there. So it looks like, yeah, Billy is holding roughly a second or two of penalties there. I'd estimate probably 1 second there between himself and Reaper. But obviously Reaper showing just ahead there on the timing gate, so about close enough. Someone bought themselves on MXB page of Twitch. 344 viewers and 0 followers. That's wild. What a world we live in, eh? Regardless. I'd say the only people that get like 300 viewers is like Navo, you know? No one else gets like 300 viewers on Twitch for MX Bikes. Anyways, we're having a good time regardless. Neon though, absolutely storming. 22 seconds on the clock left. Looks like Ben unfortunately went down there in the whoop section. Not ideal for him. Finn then storming his way through there on that TSCZ bike. Looking as stable as ever. Just keeping almost flat through that section there. You got to remember these are 250s. All the time it can be quite difficult to hold a long whoop section like there is here tonight. What up, TSCZ? We're doing it pretty nicely indeed. We are doing pretty nicely indeed. It's a very exciting track here tonight. Neon is doing fantastically up here on the JP Designs bike. Finn got off to a little bit of a rough start, but made his way up through the field pretty nicely and pretty quickly. With he had roughly 2 minutes on the clock when he got back up into that P2 spot with a 10-second gap. Now just 5.7 as it updates across the finish line. My goodness me, he's getting quick. Yeah, we have a little look at these lap times here. 57.005 there from Finn. Absolutely blistering lap time then. Very nice stuff indeed for race pace. We got a 56.9 there from Neon, so he's just a hair faster on his optimum laps. A 58, sorry, from Randolph. Jay Talon looking nice with the 1 minute time, but he's holding obviously very, very consistent here to stay ahead of Cloud. Cloud a second faster on his best lap. Definitely going to be looking to try and close that position here, and you can see Reaper running 58.1. Definitely contending for those top 3 or 4 positions if he can pull his consistency together here tonight. That's going to be the real make or break here for the Honda rider tonight. Regardless, so we're on our final lap. We'll spend it with the leader, and then we'll check back with the back of the pack. Well, not the back of the pack. The back of the safe pack at least. The promotion field, whatever you want to call it. I can't think of the word right now. Professional streamers always, chat. Regardless, Neon is absolutely cruising here tonight on that JP Designs KTM. Absolutely dialed in. He's very, very comfortable in Supercross this season. And indeed on these bikes. Across the line then for P1 for his first moto here tonight. In Heat 1 for 250. Finn then for P2, obviously. And we've got Randolph. Should be bringing it home for P3 here soon, provided nothing major goes on. Jay Talon is definitely close enough that if anything happens to Randolph in that corner, he may have lost the position, but he held on to it regardless. Jay Talon then comes across the line at just a couple of seconds behind in P4 on the Oblivion Racing bike. And then we have Reaper making it through on the P5 Honda. Cloud then for the Normsco team in P6, and Billy on Alpine Racing for P7. We've got Arcos coming in here on the KDR bike, and then at Chapstick following up very close behind for P9. Those two then are going to be making it through, and Woodland going to be the first, not quite making it into the main here tonight. He's going to have to try again in the LCQ. We know he's usually got some pretty decent pace, so hopefully he can get that consistency together and potentially get some interesting things happening here tonight. Willie then in the P11 spot, finishing pretty strong, but again, going to have to settle for the LCQ. We've got Ollie Roy at P12, Lucy in P13 by the looks of things. Oh, he's had a disaster there on the AEO bike. It looks like Lil Man might be able to find his way through. Latuna gets through then. A lovely little pass then for the AEO bike. Past his teammate. Jenkins then on the Hustle Racing bike. Was off to a fantastic start in the heat, but unfortunately just got caught up in a couple of minor crashes. And it was just enough to put him all the way at the back of the pack in P15. A really unfortunate moto there then. Fingers crossed they can have a better try in the LCQ in a little while. For now, though, we're going to check at the fastest lap. Fastest guy on the field at the moment is Finn with a 56.781, which is very, very quick race pace for a 250. Why is Lynn's not racing? Because this is the 250 class. Oh, no, he's they're doing the GP thing, aren't they? Is it the MotoGP or the MXGP? I think it's MotoGP, right? They're going to Qatar for the, yeah, because of the LAN event. I'll explain it in a minute. But yeah, Finn doing very nicely. 56.7. Very, very speedy stuff indeed. Regardless, we're going to go check out the edits for a moment again, and then we'll meet you back with 450 LCQs. LCQ time in the 450 class here for The round... What round are we on? 9! I nearly said round 8. Round 9. Alrighty, here we are then. On the gates for the 450 LCQ. Down any second here. Down they go, and off we are then on the full gate, 450 LCQ. Jam's having a bit of a wobble there very, very early. It looks like Hakon should be taking the whole shot here if he can cut back in time. It looks like he's done it. A fantastic start then for the Ace Motobike. Looking at a very, very smooth indeed. Yoku, unfortunately, getting a little bit stuck there through that rhythm section, and not the optimal start at all. We're going to check out the top for you, though. We got Hakon then leading the field at the moment. Mr. Cyril just behind on the Mostra KTM. No, it's a Mostra Husqvarna, sorry. My apologies. A very nice looking Husqvarna indeed. We shall keep him nice and smooth for the rest of the night. We've got Sizzy here, or Skizzy. Is this Skizzy or Sizzy? I think it's Skizzy. He's having a nice, fantastic start to his race too. Currently in that P3 spot for the moment. We've got Rubes just behind. Like I said, one to watch out for. He's usually got some serious pace here on these super tracks. Mears just behind on the Amnation KTM, having a bit of a wonky way through the whoops, but somehow wrestled his way past the other bike. A cheeky little pass then for the Amnation bike, but the MXB Mods Racing KTM will find his way back on through. Tiny, tiny case there from Rubes. You can see those triples very, very stretchy on the 250s. Got to really get those lines right to dial them in and stay nice and consistent, of course, on the track here tonight. Mr. Sturl then, I believe he's chilling here in that P2 spot, just starting to open up away from the rest of the podium positions for that moment, provided he can keep himself nice and smooth. Rubes then finds himself into P3 for the moment. Harry P4 could be taking that position away, though, from Rubes by the looks of things. Very, very cheeky move then from the FD KTM as he goes around the outside of the MXB Mods bike. It looks like Rubes should retake the position here as we cut way out down through the hairpin into this next little rhythm section. Very smooth stuff indeed, though. Meanwhile, Hakon, absolutely storming, 7.5 seconds, not a care in the world. He's chilling. You just hit that quad like it was no one's business. He's pretty wacky, I can't lie, that guy. Very, very speedy. Not sure how he ended up in the LCQ. Mr. Cyril here as well. Got some serious pace a lot of the time when he can keep his head screwed on. Got the Mostra Husqvarna then, putting in some serious work here tonight. He's 8 seconds off the leader, but he's got roughly a second to Maverick behind. So that's a pretty comfortable gap then here for the LCQ. Just a few minutes remaining. Of course, very, very short sessions here for the LCQ. It's only the top 4 going through at the minute. That's Hakon, Mr. Cyril, Maverick and Rubes. Anyone under that list is going to be having to try their absolute hardest here tonight to try and climb up through that field. Looks like Rubes and Yoku had a bit of an exchange of positions there. Yoku then back up into that safe zone. And Rubes currently P5. Looking to try and close on down. We'll see if he can do so. With Extreme closing in as well then on the KTM just behind the MXB Mods bike. We'll see if we can find some things going on here soon. Very nice here for Extreme. He could be taking his P5 position away. It's not going to matter too much though. P4 is the position that really matters here. Yoku is going to be looking to ride as smooth and as consistently as possible here to just try and bring that home for the last 2 minutes or so. Unfortunately, as I speak, the commentator's curse strikes almost immediately. We get a bit of an overjump there. Good save though, doubles the situation and manages to triple out to the rest of the section. So very, very smooth and a good bit of racecraft there to resecure the control of the bike. Right onto the back of Maverick now though. So the JP bike onto the back of the Benetton bike. And it looks like Maverick's going to have to be under some severe pressure here at the moment. Obviously P3 doesn't really want to be going down due to the pressure, because then he's at risk of losing out on the LCQ entirely. And he might miss that main event, which is obviously not going to be the optimal strategy here tonight. Okay, they're putting in some serious work here as he climbs right down onto the back of that Benetton Racing KTM. Around the outside, trying to get a good drive down this whoop section then on the 450, and it looks like it should pay off. Almost comes alongside, but just has to slot right in behind there, less than a couple of inches between the two of them at the corner there. Just a few bike lengths now as we stretch our way through the rhythm. Unfortunately for Maverick, he's gone down. A big case there for the KTM, and unfortunately that's put him down to P4. Manages to hold on to the P4 position for now though, but Rubes is definitely starting to close in with 52 seconds on the clock. It's going to be all or nothing now for the remaining couple of laps that are here tonight. Hakon absolutely fucking storming though. 13.593. Ludicrous gap. Absolutely ludicrous gap here. How does that happen? Looking nice and smooth here for Maverick. He should be able to hold on that position. Yoku then holding on just ahead of him for the moment at least. Looks like timing gates are showing him. It's just updated actually, never mind. Rubes here loses P5 and it looks like it's Extreme. Who's that in front? Couldn't even tell. It was Maverick. Maverick on the Benetton Racing KTM had a huge crash then out of P4. Loses that position. Rubes then back up into the safe zone here tonight. And he should, hopefully, for him, be looking at a pretty tasty position. Of course, Maverick, though, is going to be looking to try and do absolutely everything within his power here over the next lap and a half to try and secure that P4 finish. My goodness me, an absolute bit of drama at the final lap here. We're going to have a quick look at Hakon here on the final lap with the racing leader, and then we'll get back on to the important gap in just a moment here. Hakon, though, just absolutely cruising tonight, scrubbing the living shit out of the track, taking every last ounce of speed that he can get. 54.839 is currently his fastest lap there on the previous lap, and you can see he's been running 55s and 56s pretty much the entire moto. Very, very smooth. Cheeky little backflip. Doesn't quite pay off, but it's not going to matter because he has a 20-second gap. Absolutely ridiculous scenes here then for the Ace Moto KTM. That's exactly where he wants to be. He tries another backflip, gets a backflip, double front flip, almost lands it, but Barboso says no, so it's not going to happen here tonight. What a race here though for Hakon. He was going to make it up through to that main. It was never really in the doubt. It was never really doubted by anyone, was it really? What a table backflip. I have to see that land in the actual moto, I'm just saying. Anyways, Hakon then should be coming across that line as we come around that final turn here for the last time in the LCQ. A cheeky double backflip across the line. Send one more. Why not? Not going to make it though. Anyways, P1, 22.5 seconds. Absolutely ludicrous. Yoku though closes that gap right up to 8 seconds, of course, due to Hakon's prior mistakes due to the crashes. Nothing particularly difficult to spot there though. Mr. Searle then in the P2 spot, and Rubes taking home P4 with a pretty hefty 5-second gap there to Maverick on the Benetton racing bike down in P5. An unfortunate finish then for Maverick. He didn't quite get the recovery that he was looking for, and Rubes managed to fend it off for the last couple of laps. Very nice stuff indeed then. Mers then for P6 and Alpha for P7. Harry will be taken at P9 behind Transcend. Transcend whips his way past then on the AO KTM. A cheeky little last minute pass. Looks like Tom finishes P10 and Pat Sheehan for P11. Skizzy retires and Extreme for P13. But no, top 4 then, making it through into the main here tonight. We've got Hakon, Yoku, and Mr. Searle and Rubes. Very nice stuff indeed. Very nice stuff indeed. Alrighty, it's going to be the main events coming up next. We've got 250 main first and then the 450 main. So it's going to be obviously a lot longer than next motos. So the endurance is going to come into play. Both mental fatigue and thumb fatigue. Why is Hakon in LCQ? Apparently had a disaster in the heat salad, but he pulled it through with like a 20-second gap at the front, so he didn't really have to worry too much. He was running absolutely ludicrous fast laps. 54.8, that's 1.8 seconds ahead of the second fastest guy on the track. And Mr. Searle, who was P3 on the overall, I believe, in the LCQ, he's 2.3 seconds behind the leader in terms of lap pace. So that's why Hakon won by so much. But yeah, the question will always be, why was he here in the first place? Boom. On the gates, once again then for 250 main here for round 9 in Birmingham, Alabama. Going to be a very, very spicy race here tonight if the heats and LCQs are anything to go by. Some very intense battles as a result of the multiple line choices around this circuit here tonight. The revs are up then here on the gates. Let's see who's going to pull the whole shot here tonight. Down they go and off we are. Bit of a poor start there for Louis on the K-Dog Co KTM at the back of the field. Neon way down the inside. Could be getting a very tight line. A little bit of an inside cut there. Hopefully no penalties for him, but an unfortunate situation for a lot of guys here on the outside of the field. Just kind of blowing that corner with a lot of speed coming in from that very, very long starting straight. Neon, though, taking the racing lead very, very early on after that whole shot with a good half a second gap here to Valentin LDF on the NGS KTM. Scavana, sorry. It's not a KTM. Having a very, very nice time in that P2 spot here at the moment. The field keeping it nice and smooth for the majority of it. We'll flick on to the TV cameras. Neon, our racing leader, goes down. An unfortunate situation then for the JP Designs bike. He's going to have to try as hard as possible to make that position up as soon as possible here. And of course, try and get as consistent as we can throughout the duration of the race. Valentin, though, absolutely storming here at the lead. 1.1 second gap, very nicely, very nice and early on is what I'm trying to say. Neon then currently holding on to that P2 spot for now. A little bit of a case there for the JP Designs bike, but he's holding on nicely through the rest of the section. No, the music is from Spotify. It's not the edits. I know the music's there. It's intentional. If it's too loud, let me know and we'll turn it down. But anyways, Neon closing up now onto the back of Valentine. Could be going down the inside. He is. What a cheeky little pass then for the racing lead once again here tonight in the Birmingham racing circuit. A fantastic little course here tonight. Very, very fun little circuit by the looks of things. It's got some nice straight rhythm sections where you can get some really, really crazy lines out of it. And the 450s will really open those up a little later on. We'll see those, excuse me, as the night develops. Need to have a drink. Been down bad. He is. He's kind of not having a nice start. He got collected very early on at the start. He was in the pile of bikes off to the right of screen on the whole shot, which is certainly not ideal at all. Of course, he's going to be looking to close that up as soon as possible. Back up into P10 though. He's not doing too bad, all things considered. We shall turn it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Bada bing, bada bing. Oh, excuse me, I keep choking on my own words. Anyways, hopefully that's a little bit better now. Megatron has come from the deep. Is it Megatron? The one from Transformers? I think so, right? The one that was in the sea? Anyways, he's here now, and he rides a Husqvarna. He's absolutely storming in the P3 spot at the moment. What a wacky world that we're living in. Anyways, we've got Jay Talon on the Oblivion racing bike, looking nice and smooth here on the KTM, keeping up that P4 position at the moment, looking to try and squeeze his way into a podium finish here tonight. We'll see if that is indeed possible. Down white here on the TSCZ bike, looking to close up some cheeky positions as well here later on tonight. Cloud then coming in on the Normsco KTM, looking to close in onto the back of Dan. It's going to be a tough little fight here between the two of them, but it looks like he might be getting a big old send to the table there. Getting a very, very tasty line indeed through this rhythm section here for the Normsco KTM. And he closes up a decent bit of time there to Dan by the looks of things. Dan though, putting in some work here to try and keep that gap as open as possible. We'll see how that develops throughout the rest of the night. We've got Valentine then still holding on for that P2 spot with Megatron behind. I thought that gap was a little bit tighter, so my apologies for flicking away from the other little battle. Another little flick back through the field here. We've got Chapstick holding on, not too bad currently in the P7 position. Billy went down there on the Alpine bike. Not an ideal situation for himself. Randolph then currently holding on to the P8 position on track, I believe, the P10 on the timing board. I guess it just hasn't updated yet. Davis then closes in, and they do collide. An unfortunate situation there for both riders, and they collect a couple other bikes, but thankfully no one else goes down in the process. Genocide goes off wide on the ETO KTM, coming on to the track a little late there, ahead of the rest of the pack. A little bit of a questionable rejoin, but we hold on to it regardless. It looks like Neon's holding roughly a second's worth of penalties here, because he's got a reasonable gap here to Valentine, but Valentine was showing very, very close there on the timing gates. So we'll see how that kind of opens up a little later on. It may just be lying to me. It may just be lying to me. Who even knows? Megatron right up the inside of Valentine now, though, looking for that P2 position here on the number 381 Husqvarna. They're going to try and close up that position once again and secure that P2 finish here tonight. 10 minutes on the clock. Jim being a hazard. I haven't even seen. All right, yeah, no, sorry, yeah. You mean, yeah. Good stuff. Anyways, Megatron is having a very, very nice start to the moto. Hopefully they can do very nicely here as we dive up down the inside of Valentine's mistake there. Absolutely punishing him immediately. Valentine there has to be forced to settle for P3 and potentially P4 here as Dan White gets a very nice drive on the KTM down the outside. He's going to get it through as well. Side by side as we enter this next rhythm section, it looks like Dan's going to get the table done and the position with it. A very nice pass then for the TCSC KTM. Fantastic start to his race. Valentine, though, immediately back on the offense, looking to try and snatch that position back. He does not want to be giving up a podium lightly down the inside line. Very aggressive inside there from Valentine. And unfortunately, a little bit of an overcorrection on the step over. Jay Talon also making a mistake there on the Oblivion bike, losing out down to P5 now as a result. Vin's had a bike failure. He has retired from the moto for one reason or another. Unfortunate to see. He's usually one of our top contenders here, as everyone knows. A very, very talented rider across the board in the MX Bikes game. So I'm sure we'll be looking to see him come back nice and strong next week, hopefully. For now, though, Megatron looking smooth here in the P2 spot. Dan White closing in behind. Certainly not too far behind on the TSCZ bike. Could be putting in some cheeky little bits of work here soon. Megatron putting in some very nice work though. As he scrub super tight over the majority of that rhythm section. Back here we've got Jay Talon as he finds his way past the casing NGS Husqvarna here of Valentine LDF. Not a super good strat, but we're going to roll with it anyway here. A little bit of a case there, and we're losing more time still there to Jay Talon. Talon then making his way through on the Oblivion KTM. Nearly said Husky because it's white, but we just we caught ourselves, you know. Very, very smooth stuff for the Oblivion bike there. He's looking like he's getting into his rhythm. For now, though, we've got Neon catching up with the back of the pack already here. Just a few minutes into the moto. Arcos and Woodland getting lapped then nice and early on into the race. Just 8 minutes on the clock remain. Neon's keeping it very, very smooth here tonight. Holding that red plate and doing it very, very proud indeed. A 6-second gap into the P2 bike of Megatron on the Husqvarna. Very nice stuff. I've got to find out who Megatron actually is. Because if I have their gear, then like chances are it's someone else. I can't read it though. I literally can't read it because it's moving around. Alright, well done, brain. He goes something. Regardless, we're having a nice little moto so far. My apologies. Deary me. The professionalism is just it's not there tonight for some reason. Yeah, if he retired Ammo, it was a few laps ago. Woodland looks like he's retired there as well, as a result of being lapped at just 8 minutes, or well, just 6 minutes into the race, I believe. So he was having an unfortunate moto here tonight. Yeah, Finn got off to a really rough start. He was collected during the whole shot, down to like P10. And then I'm not entirely sure what happened to him between when I saw him in P10 and when he retired. But we shall see, we shall see. Jay Talon makes a good job. He's done very nicely indeed for himself at the moment. Currently holding on to that P4 position on the track, which is very respectable indeed. Dan White's got a pretty hefty gap to Talon for now though, so he's got a pretty comfortable situation at the moment. Some clean air to ride in, and he just gets to focus on closing in to that P2 bike. We'll see if he can pull that off here later tonight. Just 6.5 minutes on that clock now. Ripidoc doing pretty nicely as well here in the main event. Currently P8 on the track. P7 on the track, sorry, I stand corrected as the timing gates update. Whereas 100% nice show again, but your black box. Oh, rip. Reset the game. Settings got reset and you couldn't ride. Oh. That is a very sad time, Finn. That is a very sad time. I've had my settings reset on me randomly before, and it is no joke. The game feels different for like a week afterwards, you know? Like even if you put the same settings back in, it feels like it's changed for some reason. So yeah, I feel for you there. Unfortunate situation. Hopefully you can get dialed in for GP on Monday. In worst case, back in for SX on Friday again. We shall see. We shall see. 2 teammates made it. Let's go. That's what we like to see. Hamburger. Valentina, huge crash. Reproduct then gets a little bit more breathing room and opens up the gap between Valentina and Cloud. Very nice stuff indeed for the dock. We've got Neon then currently holding on to that P1 spot, 6.8 seconds. He is opening that gap up every single lap by around half a second at least. So we'll check in with those lap times in just a moment. Dan White 20 seconds off the leader. Looking to try and close that gap up as soon as we can. Talon not too far back. Could be making some moves here soon. Checking in with the lap times then. Neon has a bit of a crash there off to the side of the track. His best lap so far was on lap 5 with a 56.814, but you can see there on lap 9 he ran a 56.862. So incredibly consistent here tonight on that 250. Very, very comfortable around the circuit. Just a little bit too comfortable maybe, causing that mistake in the previous rhythm section. For now though, coming back down this long straight, looking nice and smooth. Provided we make no more major mistakes, we should be taking a little cheeky P1 under our belts once again here tonight. We shall see though, we shall see. Is there a fix? I don't think so, Finn, I don't think so. Your best bet is probably do all your settings and stuff, and then I think you can copy like your settings files. I can't remember which ones they are, I think it's global files? I might be wrong. But yeah, what I would say is when you get settings that you like, save that folder somewhere on your desktop, you know? And then if it ever happens, you can just drag that straight into your game and you've got all your settings back. Oh, it happens every time you restart? In that case, I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, that is strange. This is 250 main, so my apologies. My apologies. This is 250 main. We are having a very nice race here so far. Megatron currently holding on to that P2 spot. We've got some pretty open gaps here at the front of the field. We do still have some pretty hectic battles in the midfield, though, between the likes of Davis here on the 651 Motorsports Husqvarna. Having a pretty nice time for himself here. Currently holding on to P6 on the timing gates, but it looks like P5 on track. Reaper closing in, though, to try and snatch that position away from him as soon as possible on the RD Honda. Outdoors 450? Yeah. It's going to be a pretty tasty race, hopefully. Some exciting things, some unpredictable things as well by the looks of it as well, with Hakon going down there in the heat and ending up in the LCQ, obviously winning the LCQ, but it could be anyone's game, you know. The track obviously appealing to some more than others. Davis looks like he is actually opening this gap up the Doc just a little bit. Doc struggling to keep up. Looks like Davis, though, is struggling with at least a 1 second penalty, which is why the timing gates are showing us the other way around. You appreciate the follow there, line. Megatron there has Schaefer just behind. Looks like Schaefer's locked down by the looks of it on the privateer KTM. Thankfully respecting that blue flag and giving way to the P2 bike by the looks of things. We have Dan White here getting past a couple of lappers as well. Always nice to see the blue flags being respected. Who is Megatron? I actually don't know, Montana. I actually don't know. I tried reading the back of their shirt, but like it's really difficult to read when they're doing Supercross because they're going up and down all the time, you know? Like, even in the orbit cam, I can't read it. My eyes aren't that good. They're fine, like, I can see. But I struggle reading stuff when it's moving. Seems sketchy. Yeah, I mean, it's not often you get a Transformer racing, you know? But, there we are. He's having a very, very nice moto, whoever they are. Schaefer, a big crash there for the privateer bike. Unfortunate situation for him, but Dan will get through without any hesitation, of course, in that P3 spot. Lovely stuff indeed. Talon here just at the back of this section. Looking like he is actually closing up some time here to Dan, but holding on to some penalties by the looks of things if I had to guess. Reaper here, sniffing on the heels of the Oblivion KTM and potentially looking at getting a P4 finish here tonight. Currently P5 after he's made his way past the 651 Motorsports Husqvarna, sorry. That's a very nice dude indeed. Probably want to do the outbound and reboot the game? Potentially, but I do have his kit. So who knows, you know? Anyways, we're having a nice little moto for the most part. 450 is down for this, correct? Yes, indeed. 450 will be coming up pretty much immediately afterwards. A short little like minute or two break just to grab myself a drink and whatever, and then we'll be straight into 450. Megatron here, losing a bit of time through that rhythm section, getting a bit unfortunate there. A little bit of a case there through the triple as well. Thankfully making it work though, so we are going to continue to have a decent race for the meantime. Dan White though closing in hot on the heels now of that Megatron bike. That Husqvarna now under some serious pressure. Michael here going to have to give way to that blue flag shortly to allow these two faster bikes to battle it out for the P2 position. Hopefully Dan doesn't get held up too much by the blue flag bike here. A little bit of a tag there from Michael. Obviously not the lapper's fault in that particular situation, but it would be nice to see him kind of let off a little bit down a straight and allow down an easy pass, you know. That's what we would like. Dan's been close enough to make a... There you go, Michael giving it wide just a little bit to allow the blue flag. That's what we like to see. Beautiful racecraft indeed, and good respecting of the rules. I don't know what Xbox friend tactic is happening. Potentially. Not to worry though. He's having a nice moto indeed. Dan White there closing in once again on a TCSE bike, looking like he could be able to snatch that P2 victory away here. I suppose it's not technically victory if it's P2, but we're going to call it that anyway. He's having a very, very nice race indeed. Megatron holding off on the defence for the moment for the Husky bike. Looking smooth as we double our way through this section. Big old triple onto the table. A little bit of a front nose case though. Dan gets a bit casey too. Unfortunately for Megatron though, he does lose the position, and the blue flag bike of Michael comes back into the show to try and unlap himself here potentially if he sees any bikes going down. We'll see if that happens though for the remainder of the race. We are currently on our final lap. I'm going to flick on over to our racing leader in a little moment. I'm going to give it a moment though, just see how the Megatron Dan White bike battle develops, and see if we can spot when Neon gets a little closer to that finish line. Megatron absolutely storming through the whoops there, but Dan doing it very nicely as well. Both bikes up and onto the table with absolutely no worries at all there. Just absolutely greasing those big lines. Neon then coming into the final sector of the lap here then as we come. Ooh, okay. Over the Supercross triple, but we're just going to single over this, double over the next bit, and come towards the end of our lap here very, very shortly. Through this section for the final time. Table on, table off. Across the start straight we go. Back around that final corner and across the line for P1 here tonight in Birmingham. Another fantastic victory here for Neon, showing everyone once again why his KTM has a big fat red plate on it. Megatron then holding on in the P2 position for now with 13.5 seconds behind, or no, 12.5 seconds, sorry, behind the race leader. A very, very comfortable P2 finish then for the Megatron. Dan White finishes P3. Not entirely sure what happened there, because he was seeming to be already finished. Anyways, Jay Talon in the P4 spot, having a nice finish for the Oblivion team, picking up some good points for the championship, is always what we like to see. Chapstick then for P5, and Reaperdoc, after a pretty valiant finish, or will be coming up in the P6 spot. He had a pretty rough start to his race, so it's always nice to see him climbing up through the field towards the end of the moto. Davis then for P7, a Cloud for P8. We have Lipasek coming in for P9, I believe, on the AEO FXR KTM, just up behind Cloud. Lovely stuff indeed. Genocide then takes the position away from Dimitri as we come across the line for P11 and 12. Oh, no, 10 and 11, sorry. My bad. Maybe I do need to get my eyes checked out. God damn. Anyways, let's go see if we can read this Megatron real quick. It says Romberg. I don't recognise the name Romberg either, honestly. Who even knows anymore? It's an illusion bike. Anyways, let's have a quick look at lap times if we get enough time. 56.814 there from Neon on the 5th lap of the moto. Fantastic speed indeed. And Reaperdoc, second fastest on the field there with a 57.573. Lovely stuff indeed. But Neon, 7/10 faster than the rest of the field. Absolutely ludicrous speed here tonight, and very, very consistent riding indeed. Here we are then on the gates for the 450 main event. Absolutely stacked field. And down go the gates and off we are then. Looking like a pretty decent start for Yoku there, and on the outside he might be able to get a cheeky little early positional gain. Looks like Tyler J will take the whole shot by the hair. Ken's on the Ace Motorbike, almost managed to snatch it away, but Tyler J will lead the pack here for the majority of the start of the race. A couple of bikes getting collected there by some side swipers. A little bit of a dodgy situation for some riders. Regardless, checking back up with Tyler J then on the MXB Mods KTM, off to a absolutely blistering start here on the number 18 red plate bike. That's exactly where he wants to find himself, nice and early on. A good half a second here to Cleoxy, and Dill Pickle closing in behind immediately there on the Husqvarna, looking to put in some work on the MXB Mods team. Ken's just behind as well, looking to try and get some early positions too. Dill Pickle then down the inside on the Husqvarna, gets the move done on the inside of Cleoxy. Cleoxy then just has to kind of watch him sail on by and try again later in the lap, or later in the moto, to get some early, well, to get some retaliation is what we're trying to say really. Kenzo down the inside, snatching away the podium potentially on the Ace Motorbike, does manage to get the position done there on the KTM. Absolutely fantastic move. Very, very nice spatial awareness. Unfortunately, he runs it very wide there on that section. Goes for the triple. It's going to see if it pays off here. It looks like Cleoxy with that double in, though, pays off almost equal through the line there. Ken's unfortunately coming off just a little bit worse there as he blows out the inside of that rut. Unfortunate situation for the Ace Motorbike. I'm sure we'll see him collect himself and pull himself together. And, of course, climb back up through that field just a little bit later. Yeah, they're in Qatar to go watch the MotoGP. Very, very jealous. Regardless, though, we still get to watch some cool racing of our own. Just unfortunately, you know, down two of the very talented riders. Here we are, though. Still got plenty of action on the field. We've got Dill Pickle currently holding on to that P2 spot at the moment. 4 seconds behind our leader at the moment. Frankelek here, not too far off the P2 bike. Could be looking at a potential battle there between the JPR bike and the MXB Mods one a little later on. For now, though, Adam Ertz on the Ace Moto team has made his way past the rest of the field, actually. And now past Cleoxy too. Lovely stuff indeed for Adam Ertz. He's looking very, very smooth. Cleoxy down on the TFCZ bike has a little bit of a case, and Tommy Wack closes in. Unfortunately, tags his front wheel on the rear of the KTM. It's certainly not an ideal situation at all. And Ken's then, like we said, he's picked himself up, dusted himself off, and he's right back onto the back of Cleoxy once again here. These guys have been pretty much together for the majority of the moto so far. It's of course only been a couple of minutes, but we'll see if we can get some extra little battles here. Tyler is nuts, he really is. I don't know what's going on with him this year, but he's absolutely ludicrously fast. And he has no right to be as quick as he is, Darius. But here we are. Adam Ertz having a big crash there, and Kenz and Tommy Wack making their way through as a result then. Cleoxy 2, obviously, on the TSCZ KTM. Lovely stuff indeed. Frank Leck on the JPR bike, looking nice and smooth though. Very, very smooth indeed on the KTM. Hopefully he can keep it nice and together. We'll see if it pays off in the long run. We'll have a quick little lap with our leader, shall we? Tyler J, absolutely storming here tonight on the MXB Mods bike. Very, very smooth stuff, and I just want to show how consistent this man can be on this a big old 450 here tonight. Nice scrub over the finish line there as we come around the outside of that first turn into that whoop section. Kind of jumping over a couple of whoops there, but making it nice and stable regardless, keeping it very, very tidy, and just dialed in overall really. Onto the table and a little double off, and when you go big old quad into the line there. Very smooth stuff though. Gapping our way through, tuck down the inside, up and over the step over, looking smooth. Carry it out wide, gonna go for the big triple in. Stretch this out to a quad, question mark? Yes we do. And then we're having another quad at the end of that, of course we are. Triple quad is the line there for Tyler J on the 450. Absolutely brutal machine. Just whipping it out as if it's nothing as well. Here we go then into this next section, on the table, off the table, down the inside and through we go. Looking very, very smooth indeed. And across that line, that's a lap with a leader. Anyways, back on to some extra little racing things. And you can see, that's just a ridiculous lap as well. I want to check the time on that. That was his fastest lap so far with a 55.7. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I have nothing else to say. Look at them 60 purple trousers from Black Label go. Ooh. We need to test him. Hell yeah. He's juicing. Dill Pickle going for that big line as well here. Let's see if he can pull it off. Triple. Can he get the quad? Yes, he can. All day long. Very, very beautiful line. Landing nice and high. Unfortunately, a little bit of a case there from the Husqvarna on the end of that quad section. Not quite managing to tidy up the line in the Tyler J fashion, but I'm sure we'll see him attempt to do so later in the moto. Dill Pickle definitely not one to be shunned. He's running at 55.146, so he's actually faster than Tyler J. Wait, what? 54.7. Sorry, my apologies. He's very similar pace to Tyler J, just a few tenths of a second in it there. Very, very close stuff indeed, and Ken's not too far back as well here. Currently 56.1, but staying nice and consistent. He's back up into that podium position, and like we said, he's going to be closing those positions nice and early on. In fact, Frank Leck currently holding position 3 on the track, when Ken's P3 on the board. Unfortunately, that crash is going to put him out of it for now, and Adam Ertz secures P4 on the board. Does he? Yes, he does. Were you guys able to do the pro version? I'm not sure what you mean, but yes, we are on the pro version if that's what you're asking. Ken's then going to be going for that big triple quad line. Can he pull it off here for the Ace Moto KTM team? Looking smooth for now. That's the end one that catches people out, but he absolutely greases it there. His teammate just in front, looking a little slow as we close that gap up, and nice and quickly here. Ken's then looking to try and tackle the teammate pass with ease and grace. Of course, you don't want to interrupt your teammate's race as much as possible, but of course, if they are holding you up, you want to get past them as quick as you can to optimise your time. And there you go, punish that mistake, through we go, and no interruption of Adam's race with the battle there between the two of them. Very nice situational awareness between the two of them, and some good team racecraft. That's what we like to see. Of course, being on the team, these guys presumably trained together. And you can see there's a nice bit of respect here from Adam Ertz as he gives way to his rider there. Unfortunately, Ken's collects his teammate. Oh no, the disaster has happened. Absolute disaster for the Ace Moto team. Cleoxy makes his way through for the TCSC team on the KTM, as does Jake on the AJP bike. Fantastic stuff for both of these riders. It looks like Hakon's found his way through on the Ace Moto team as well there. Very nicely done indeed. Adam Ertz stays ahead of Hakon and Tommy Wack. Looking nice indeed. Hakon, though, one of the fastest riders on the field at the moment. We'll see if he can pull it out of the bag. He's not running his optimal laps here at the moment. We'll see if he can secure something a little later on in the night. For now, though, Tyler J still storming. 8.5 seconds is the gap between himself and P2. Dill Pickle looking to keep that gap as close as possible, but is struggling to close it. It makes me more Tusky then, keeping himself as smooth as possible, getting the occasional case, and that tiny little case sessions is unfortunately what is separating these two riders at the moment. Rex, what do you mean there was a battle for the lead? There literally wasn't. What are you on about? It never went below 8 seconds. Frank likes having a nice little smooth run. I'll probably look at the replay like later on when I do the YouTube video, and it will probably tell me that the gap was way closer. But anyways, shh, right, shh. We'll be all right. He didn't get by. We didn't miss anything. Professional commentary. Anyways, we'll be keeping an eye on that that mini-map gap a little bit closer than usual then. For the moment, it looks like Tyler J is holding a very, very hefty gap as he passes a few blue flag bikes nice and early into the moto with 11 minutes on the clock. Very nice stuff indeed for the racing leader. We'll see if he can continue to open that gap. Rex likes men. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Anyways, Adam Mertz keeping himself as smooth as possible. He's lost the position to Jake there, and unfortunately the commentator's curse strikes immediately. And will put him down to the P5 spot on the track. It looks like Jake is potentially holding a penalty. We'll see how that updates as we come over the next timing gate. We'll see how that does develop. Dill Pickle then closing some time up, it looks like. 6 seconds now between himself and Tyler J. Could be looking at potential battle for the lead in the meantime. A 54.914 then for the P2 bike. Tyler J running a 54.695 is his optimal lap. You can see he did have a couple of crashes, and that must have been what closed that gap up that you guys mentioned a little earlier on. That will be what closed that gap up indeed. But we also saw Dill Pickle have a bit of a moment on the 8th lap, and of course on the 7th as well, losing some time to create that 11-second gap that we saw too. So 7 seconds now, losing just a hair of more time. We'll see how that gap develops later on in the moto. It's going to be up and down, I'm sure, throughout the rest of the night. Nate Dad giving way to Adam Mertz. Always nice to see the blue flag being respected yet again here. Deary me. Frank Glick staying nice and smooth. A little bit of a wobble there, but keeping it steady. Going for the triple on the JPR bike. A bit of a case there. He's going to have to settle for the triple here onto the table. Keeps it nice and tidy though, and recovers very smoothly indeed. Good stuff across the board. Jake having a bit of a hairy moment there. We've got Adam Mertz just ahead of Nate Dad. Nate Dad on the Fusion Racing bike is a lap down though. I thought it was potentially a positional battle, but I was wrong. Capybara then also lap down. It appears on the Motormart. What is that? Honda? I think it's a Honda. Absolutely no idea. It's neon green. Pretty sure it's a Honda. Anyways, he's having a pretty okay race. Currently the P17 position, but he's definitely going to be wanting to climb up some more if he can do so. Dill Pickle in the P2 position, just 2.3 seconds off our racing leader Tyler J. Tyler J then potentially making yet another mistake on this particular lap. Certainly not ideal at all. You're on a 58.3 with that qualify? Not for EU, although if you haven't made AMS before, or if you haven't made a pro before, then AMS will be an option for you. But I think it was a 57.6, I believe. It might have been a 0.8, but yeah, it was a 57 point something. So that should be your target time, obviously. Dill Pickle there runs it wide, losing some time through that section then on the MXB Mods Black Label co-rider. Not ideal, but here we are. TJ making his way through a couple of down bikes. This is always interesting to see how the leaders pick their way through the crashed out field. My goodness me, I can't keep up with my brain today. Don't know what's going on. Try and keep hustling, you got time. Hell freaking yeah. There's always NA. Unless you've done EU, you know. In that case, you know, you're kind of screwed. Good old region. But yeah, it's always nice regardless, even if you only miss out by a little bit. We shall see. But no, plenty of time to get some extra practice in, that's for sure. For now though, Tyler J storming. Dill Pickle just behind. There's literally a corner behind. Maybe... There's got to be like a 1 second gap now, surely. At 1.8 it's got to be super close. Look at a send there from Dill Pickle. Unfortunately, gets collected there by Spocket. I don't think it was through any fault of Spocket's. I think he was just kind of going through the motions there, doing his own lines. And unfortunately, he just did not anticipate Dill Pickle coming down from the heavens above to land on his head. Dylan is going to have to pick up the pace and get himself back into the rhythm here tonight, nice and quickly. Dorian there, a lot further down than I'm used to seeing him. All the way down in P14 at the moment. An unfortunate situation then for himself. Tyler J though, looking nice and smooth though, as he continues to hold on to that 5-second gap for now. Dill Pickle trying to recover nice and smoothly from his previous mistake. A little thank you there to the Mostra bike. Ken's here, the P3 KTM, off to a fantastic start to his moto. Then he got collected and went all the way down through the field, and then he's come back. So he's very, very consistent rider here tonight. He's looking like he's incredibly comfortable on the circuit. A 54.906 is his best lap on the board, and you can see those lap times pretty stable. Some minor errors there on lap 12 and 13, but obviously nothing too particular. Dill Pickle here having a couple more issues. That's not like him at this point in the moto. We shall see if he can try and close that gap up a little bit further. Cleoxy down through the field as well now. Didn't realise he was quite so down bad at this point. Unfortunate situation then for the TSCZ bike. You see Dill Pickle here cutting down the inside of the Swan Labs bike. Lovely stuff indeed. The MXP Mods KTM then making a little light work. No, it's not a KTM, it's Husqvarna, my apologies. 58205T, nice. Not a bad time at all. Deoxy closing back in. It looks like he's nearly took out Dill Pickle. That was a very, very close situation there. And that of course, would have potentially been at least some kind of promotion, I'm sure. For now, though, that gap between Dill Pickle and Tyler J closes ever still, just 3.6 seconds. And the clock is ticking at 5.5 minutes before the final lap or two. Jake then looking smooth as he climbs onto the back of Capybara once again to get past the lap down Motormark bike. If he can indeed do so, we've got Rubes just up in front as well. Rubes also having a bit of a struggle bus situation for the night. Ken's there giving way. Not Ken's giving way, the other bike giving way. Ken's getting through. Deary me. Deary me. Alrighty then, going to keep an eye on these gaps that are starting to close up just a little bit. We've got Jake is actually closing, oh no, Steiner, sorry, closing onto the back of Jake is what I actually mean. And that is going to help Steiner big time. Bit of a collection series there. Unfortunately, where is Steiner? Oh, he's right in this pack. I thought he was further back than that. He's way on top of him now. Going to be putting in some serious work here as he tries to scrap his way through the rest of this traffic. Some really serious traffic here. Look at that inside rut. These guys throughout the mid-pack of the field are having a battle of a lifetime here as Steiner tries his best to fight his way through this field. He needs to get through this pack as quick as possible to have any chance of catching up to Ken's in this next 4 minutes or so. Ken's has finally managed to break away from this small field and Steiner is left stuck in the traffic with almost no options here as the blue flag bikes are in fact racing for position ahead of him. So he doesn't want to interrupt their battles, but at the same time he cannot afford to be held up like this. Around the outside for the Ace Moto Husky then as he tries to recover some very urgent lost time. Look at this. It is wacky stuff indeed, Matty. It is wacky stuff indeed. Are they all on lead lap? No. So Steiner is on the lead lap. The rest of the bikes on screen at the moment are lap down situation, I believe, other than Adam Mertz, who is just at the back there. So most of these bikes that are in the traffic situation are a lap underneath the leaders. For now, though, Steiner has now managed to break free of that traffic on the Ace Moto Husqvarna, and now the battle between himself and his teammate Ken's can begin. We'll see how that battle develops a little later on. We saw him closing up pretty quickly earlier on. So now that the traffic has opened up, we should be seeing a potential battle on our hands here pretty shortly, I'd imagine. Go Dill Pickle, we'll have a little look. He's up just 2 seconds to the racing leader. It looks like that was Tyler J's roost there just up in front. It definitely was. Lovely stuff indeed from the racing leader. Has he made more mistakes, or is Dylan just absolutely cooking? It could be a mix of the two. It looks like he's not that slow, to be honest. He's running pretty consistent laps. Dill Pickle then is just absolutely freaking storming here tonight. Running consistent 57s while looks... Oh, well, no, sorry. That was a lie. is having kind of a rough last few laps by the looks of things. But Tyler J not off to the best couple of laps at all either. But you've got to remember these guys have been coming through some serious midfield traffic. And of course that will be slowing down their optimal lap times. Dill Pickle now though with a good bit of open air should be closing this gap up just a little bit here towards the end of the night. Gonna have a little flick back to the Steiner-Ken's battle. It looks like Steiner's found his way past his teammate. Ken's then losing out to the position of the Ace Moto team. Rip it, dog! With the Prime Sub. Let's go, baby. Thank you very much, Doggy Wocky. We love you. Hopefully you had a nice night tonight. It was some pretty decent performance, I can't lie. A good recovery ride. And some good points on the board is always what we like to see. Duckington! Hell yeah. Tyler J then looking at a nice and smooth here for the MXB Mods team on the Red Plate KTM. Very smooth stuff. 5.8 seconds now between himself and Dill Pickle after Dill got caught up in yet another minor mistake. Keeps making those little hiccups just as he gets close to the racing leader, and unfortunately it's just enough to keep him held off for the moment. We'll have a little hydratorini and we shall get back to some racing commentary. Steiner and Ken's still a relatively interesting battle, but it's actually Steiner and Jake. Because where's Ken's? Ken's is behind the pair of them. Jake is right onto the back of Steiner here, though, potentially getting that P3 position on the track. We could see that develop quite tastily a little later on in the moto. Just a minute on the clock, though, so it's anyone's game. Tyler J still leads on his KTM. Very smooth stuff. Dill Pickle looking good. Steiner and Jake, sorry, having a very exciting battle here between the AJP KTM and the Ace Moto Husqvarna. Steiner snatches his position back around the outside there. A fantastic little bit of move from the Ace Moto guy. And then we've got Jake down the inside. He's going to go for the double line. Steiner's going to go for that triple quad. Doesn't quite get it. He goes to the table instead, but it's still a very quick line. And he gets that gap opened up nicely between himself and Jake. Jake seems to have gone down there, and Ken's takes the P4 position as a result. Ken's then looking to try and climb up onto the back of his teammate once again here tonight. Ken's has been a very consistent and very fast rider here tonight. And I'm sure we'll see him try and hold on to that podium position. He's got to get past Steiner on the track here. It looks like he's past Steiner on the timing gates. So Steiner potentially holding some penalties that we are not 100% aware of. In fact, it looks like 2 seconds of penalties. That is dramatic. We shall see indeed. We shall see indeed. Well, thank you, T. Thank you. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't be here if people weren't racing and if ARL didn't host it and all of that good jazz, So it's not me we got to thank, really. I just talk about video games. I do appreciate it, though. But yeah, Ken's having a very nice time here. Dill Pickle could be putting in some work here to close up to the racing leader soon. He's just around one rhythm section away. Just this little rhythm section as well. It's like half the long sections. Certainly not too long at all. We're going to hop on with our racing leader for the remainder of the final lap here, though. But yeah, I do very much enjoy doing the race commentary. I don't know why. It's just incredibly exciting to me. I look forward to it every week. But yeah, I'm also thinking about using it as a reference and applying for some real life commentary opportunities. So we shall see how that develops in the coming years. For the foreseeable, though, we shall remain with our video game esports commentary. That's where we're at. That's where we're comfortable. Sitting in a room, not in front of anyone. Just chatting shit on the internet. As Tyler J comes across the line for P1 for the 450 main event here tonight. A fantastic win and a well-deserved one indeed. He's led pretty much since the whole shot. And with almost no contention other than Dill Pickle here. Dill Pickle's been holding on to some serious close gaps here between himself and the racing leader. An unfortunate situation, though, towards the end of the race saw him leaving out the opportunity to take away that victory. Unfortunately, though, Steiner then will... I don't know why I'm saying unfortunately. Fortunately for Steiner, he takes P3 in the 21 seconds off the back of the racing leader. A pretty hefty gap there, but Ken's on the Ace Moto bike as well, taking the P4 position, so that's 3 and 4 for Ace Moto. Lovely stuff indeed, and 1 and 2 for MXB Mods. AJP then pill up P5 with Jake as their rider, and Hakon for P6, Adam Mertz for P7, Hurls for P8, Frankelek for P9, and Yoku finishing up in that P10 spot. But I know, always interesting stuff, an absolutely stacked field, even without a couple of the other riders. Very tasty stuff indeed. Very, very tasty stuff indeed. We'll watch Capybara here. Hopefully he finishes and crosses the line at some point here tonight. I think he's out of fuel. Come on, we've got to cheer him across the line, boys. No, why did he retire? I really wanted us to just be like, come on, you know, as he goes across. Anyways, he's retired from the motor. We're going to check in with the fastest laps of the 450 class in the main event here. So on lap 15, we saw Hakon put in a 54.429. Very, very serious pace here tonight. Tyler J with a 54.695, a 54.697 from Adam Ertz. Just 0.02 of a second there off of Tyler J's fastest lap. Then Hurls with a 54.803. Unfortunately, not as consistent as he would like to be tonight, and that's why we didn't see him in the top 5 fights. Steiner then pulled P5 in terms of fastest lap there with a 54.897. Very nice battles across the board though. And we show